Good afternoon and welcome to Aortic Hope's AHTV Week in Review. Please click the like, the share, and the notification bell to get future notifications of all that Aortic Hope offers. Today is a Movement for Movement Monday at Aortic Hope. Starting your own workout routine without a trainer can be easy. Just remember to speak with your physician before starting any workout. And we recognize that doing nothing is doing something, but save that for the important days when your body is screaming that it needs to rest. First, you'll want to warm up those muscles. So let's make this routine easy by using household items, which is like a treasure hunt for fitness. Think of it as preheating your body's oven for the fitness feast to come. You can jog in place or channel your inner Rocky with some air punches. Just enough to get the heart racing. Next, grab those water bottles. They're not just for hydration anymore. They're your new dumbbells. Moving on to that sturdy chair. It's about to become your squat and tricep dip station. Got a backpack? Fill it with books until it's as heavy as your motivation and strap it on for weighted lunges. Follow any weight restrictions set by your physician. Grab your towel. It isn't just for drying off, it's your resistance band for stretching and strength exercises. And let's not forget the wall. Yes, the one you've been staring at while pondering life. It's perfect for wall sits. Just make sure to continuously breathe as to avoid any strain on your abdomen. Who knew your home was a gym in disguise? Just remember, the couch is lava when you're in workout mode. No sitting unless it's for a set of creative crunches like lifting your knees up. Finish off with a cool down stretch where you can pretend you're a noodle, finally relaxing after escaping the pot. There you have it, a simple workout routine that's as budget friendly as it is trainer free. Just remember, consistency is key, like brushing your teeth, but with more sweat. For more detailed guidance, you can check out resources like Nerd Fitness or Very Well Fit. And share this with your physician to make sure it's the right thing for you. It's Topic Tuesday, and here we have an article by our medical student, Adam. What's up, friends and family? I hope you and your loved ones have been doing well and enjoyed a weekend. To all of our friends in the Northeast, we hope you are doing safe after the earthquake. On this week's session, I wanted to quickly compare three common kinds of aortic root replacement surgeries: the David procedure, the Bentall procedure, and the Pears procedure. Each of them have unique benefits and situations where they can be used. So let's get into it. The David procedure is a valve-sparing aortic root replacement. Starting off with the David procedure, which gets its name from the surgeon who created it, the great Dr. Tyrone E. David from the University of Toronto. The surgery is sometimes called valve-sparing aortic root replacement. And here we have a picture of that very procedure, the David procedure, with the aorta being fitted and the aortic root being spared. This surgery is used when the aortic root is dilated, root aneurysms, but the aortic valve is still in good condition. Instead of cutting out the entire aortic root with the valve, the native valve is left in place or spared with the diseased aortic tissue, is carefully cut out and replaced. During the David procedure, your heart will be placed on bypass, whereby the heart-lung machine will oxygenate your body while your surgical team operates. After the operation, you will have your native aortic valve and a new synthetic aortic root. Keeping your natural aortic valve has many benefits, including avoiding the need for blood thinners associated with mechanical valves or the structural degeneration associated with animal tissue valves. Refer to our Topic Tuesday post from 2 weeks ago for more information on the different types of valves. Here we have a picture of the David procedure, aortic root replacement with reimplantation of aortic valve. Please note, the David procedure is a good option in patients with aortic root aneurysms who have viable aortic valves with little calcification or leakiness. However, for aortic root aneurysms that have concurrent aortic valve disease, another option may be considered. The Bentall procedure. When aortic root disease causes severe aortic valve dilation or regurgitation, or for those patients with aortic root aneurysms with severely calcified aortic valves, the Bentall procedure may be the answer. First described in 1968 by Dr. Hugh Bentall and Dr. Anthony DeBona, this surgery will also include cardiopulmonary bypass. And here we have a picture of the Bentall procedure, open heart surgery, and the various stages of that surgery. Once the heart-lung machine is working, the surgeons will remove your dilated aortic tissue and also remove your diseased aortic valve. The aortic tissue will be replaced by synthetic graft, while your aortic valve will be replaced with either a bioprosthetic animal tissue or mechanical valve. Most patients after a Bentall will get a mechanical valve as it provides long-term durability. However, note, mechanical valves will require patients to be on lifelong warfarin or Coumadin blood-thinning medication to reduce risk of thrombotic events. And here we have another picture of the Bentall procedure, a little bit more detailed, and part of the aorta that needs to be replaced with the artificial valve. Followed by another diagram of a mechanical valve on the left, implanted in the aorta, or a biological valve or animal tissue valve on the right. Our third procedure is the PAIRS procedure. It stands for Personalized External Aortic Root Support. An emerging technology in the treatment of aortic root disease is the use personalized external aortic root support, more familiarly referred to as the PAIRS procedure. Like the acronym suggests, the key difference with PAIRS is that the aorta is supported externally, meaning that the aneurysmal aortic root tissue is not actually cut out like in the David and Bentall procedures. This means that the operation can be done without stopping your heart and going on the bypass heart-lung machine. Here we have a picture. On the left is the mesh sleeve of a former made by computer-aided design and rapid prototyping, 3D printing. Just amazing stuff. In the pairs, your aorta is carefully sized on imaging and a 3D model of your tissue is created to produce a perfectly tailored size. Unlike the synthetic grafts used in the Bentall and David operations, the PAIRS 3D model has a softer mesh design, allowing it to conform to the shape of your aorta. Please note, the PAIRS procedure does not change the size of your aortic aneurysm, meaning that there is a possibility that one may need another corrective surgery later in life. However, because the PAIRS spares the aortic valve and the native shape architecture of your aorta, it theoretically should not complicate a future aortic root replacement. For more information on the PAIRS procedure, please check out these links that are located here on the website. And that's it for this week, friends. I hope you found this post helpful in showing the key features and differences between major aortic root procedures. Feel free to drop any questions or ideas you have for future posts below for Duke and I to follow up on. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay good looking, and most importantly, stay thinking aorta. That is from Adam. It's Think Aorta Thursday, symptoms of a dissection. When your symptoms are ignored or misdiagnosed. Many of the aortic dissection survivors in our community were lucky enough to go to a hospital where emergency physicians recognized their symptoms or connected the dots when hearing about their family medical history. And they ordered a life-saving CT scan. Unfortunately, there are many community members who had a very different experience. Some spent hours waiting in the emergency room. Others were actually sent home. The worst stories come from patients that know their family history, can clearly articulate that information, and are still sent home without a CT scan. We have asked community members to share some of their symptoms and ER experiences with the medical community in hopes of teaching emergency physicians to think aorta and order a CT scan. Here we have an account by a community member named Michael R. And he says, I felt like I was on fire from the inside out and had nonstop nausea and vomiting. The hospital staff ordered an EKG, no heart attack. Then they sent me back to the ER waiting room. Prashant J shares, I heard the pop and drove myself to the hospital. My left leg was numb by the time I got there, but I didn't have too much pain in the chest. I was slightly dizzy. Told hospital my dad passed at 30 and his granddad passed at 56. And either I was having a stroke or heart attack. They did an ECG or an EKG, said I was fine and that I sprained my leg and chest and sent me home. Just can't. Nate S shares, intense shooting pain down my back. I was also having discomfort in my left leg and difficulty walking. They ended up sending me home with pleurisy. It was a very small hospital, so I'm sure they didn't have a CT or even an MRI. Finally, a simple chest x-ray showed an enlarged aorta, which then led to a CT. Our Karen A shares, felt an initial pop in my neck, followed by intense acid reflux. Then a sudden loss of feeling in my arms and legs. The whole time I thought it was my Crohn's disease. I was lucky to have an immediate CT at the hospital, only to find I had a type A dissection and was transferred to the larger hospital, where while in surgery, I dissected down to my iliac. Ruru F shares, hubby had sharp pain very high between shoulders and under throat, then freezing hands and feet, sort of mental spaciness, then urinary incontinence. Syncope episode with vomiting times 2. Finally, projectile vomiting in ER. And my insistence that his odd symptoms seemed to be organ failure led to a heart enzyme test. One was slightly elevated, which led to a lung embolism test. 200 times elevated, which finally led to CT with contrast. Life flight, 16 plus hour surgery, etc. She did note, before then, EMTs had come and gone, and ER had attempted to discharge him 4 times, and I refused. Karen B shares, no pain, passed out. ED thought I had overdosed or was stroking. AD eventually found when nurse suggested my aorta should be checked via CT. The aortic dissection was eventually found when the nurse suggested they put her through a CT. Annette R shares, my family doctor sent me home with a diagnosis of a strained shoulder and stomach bug. Stomach bug. I called 911 an hour later when my entire torso felt like it was electrified. She is a dissection survivor. Rhonda W shares, my husband sat dying in the hospital 3 days trying to figure out what was going on before they went in to fix his aortic valve and discovered the problem. His other 5 family members did not survive it, an aortic dissection. She notes 13 years later, it was discovered that AHTV runs in the family. If you have experienced something similar, please consider sharing your experience with us in hopes of teaching more medical professionals to think aorta and help increase diagnosis time. You can share that information by sending it to info@aortichope.org. And Joshua, these stories send chills down my arms and legs. These are very
Yeah.
upsetting diagnosis. Anyway. It's Feel Good Friday, and today we are highlighting our ever so popular AHTV Aortic Kitchen, starring aortic chef Rob Seltzer and aortic dietitian Mindy Seltzer. A very simple way to feel good is food. Learning to properly prepare delicious, healthy meals is presented by our very own Aortic chef. Considering the nutritional values is discussed by our very own Aortic dietitian. Hey, have you had the chance to visit our Aortic kitchen playlist? Aortic chef Rob and his wife Mindy Seltzer share a lifetime of nutrition and culinary education. This past Wednesday, for example, they released poke bowls on the Aegean. Please join us every first and third Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time and get immersed in culinary delights. And it's Survivor Series Saturday, one of my very favorites here at Aortic Hope. And this Survivor Series is featuring Thomas Noetner. And here is a thumbnail of AHTV Survivor Series. Tom is a retired chef and active motivational speaker. On Survivor Series Saturday, he shares his incredible story of aortic dissection. Tom has expressed his gratefulness to the ever so popular Thursday Aortic Hangouts for support where he can laugh and entertain everyone alongside his fellow survivors. He plans to embark in his role as an Aortic Hope advocate to help spread awareness of aortic disease and aortic hope. Tom's enthusiasm has spurred a new trifold brochure, so please be on the lookout for those coming soon. Last week on Sunday, we posed the question, how can you help Aortic Hope? Many people ask how they can help within the community. One way is to host a Facebook birthday fundraiser. It's very simple. You simply click the About section and scroll down until you see fundraisers. Click the three dots and then raise money to start a fundraiser of your own. Not only will you be raising money for Aortic Hope, but you will be creating awareness within the community about aortic disease, which is more common than you think. 100% of monies raised are used towards our initiatives within the community. Aortic Hope is comprised of volunteers who have been touched by aortic disease, and no one on the board receives compensation. The events we have coming up for the following week, we have Wednesday the 17th at 6 p.m. Eastern, Aortic Hope's Aortic Kitchen with Chef Rob and Mindy Seltzer. Thursday the 18th at 2 p.m., we have Aorta Hangouts with Rob and Mindy Seltzer, as well as a lot of other fun people. And Saturday the 20th at 10 a.m., we have Aortic Hope's Caregiver Only Support Group Meeting. Sunday the 21st at 12:30 p.m., we have Aortic Hope's Qigong with Kevin Songer. And Monday the 22nd at 3 p.m., we have Karen Anderson rejoining us for Aortic Hope's Week in Review. Thank you so much for being here today, and we would like for you, before you go, to click the like, the subscribe, and hit that little bell so that you will get notifications for all upcoming events.